I'm Melina.
I'm Rosie.
And we're Women Unscripted. We're back.
And better.
And giving you visual now. So,
we hope you guys like and enjoy. So, do you guys think it's possible to fall out of love?
Dum, dum, dum. Yes, I think so.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Melina?
It depends, because I feel like you can fall out of that whole being in love phase, like, oh, I want to spend the rest of my life with you, but I feel like you will always have love for that person.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel genuinely like falling out of love is for those who have never been in love. So it's easy to say I've fallen out of love, but you were probably never actually in love with this person for you to even fall out of love, if you get my drift.
Yeah. So what you're saying is more on what you're leaning more towards, or correct me if I'm wrong, is like what you're saying is, in order, if you've really actually been in love, there's not a possibility of you falling out of love, because you two will just somehow always find that way to reconnect.
Yes. I feel like when you truly love someone, that whole falling in love thing, I feel like people view love as like you have to be like, you get this butterfly feeling all the time, like you have to be glued to the hip in order for you to kind of be in love, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
if you have to feel this spark all the time, or like, and I don't think it's that way. I feel like you're gonna go through problems, you're gonna reach tough times, you're not gonna like them certain days, and that's fine in a sense.
You know what's so crazy about that? I think because society, movies, books, or whatever the case may be, has painted this picture and this idea of what being in love or love is supposed to be like, that when we're interested in people and we give certain people our time of day and just trying to figure things out, or dating for that matter, for lack of a better phrase, but we start to think that maybe this person isn't it because we don't feel the way that we believe we're supposed to feel, based off the things that we
read,
were taught, or
So tie in love like a feeling.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's fun out of it. For sure. Because people grow apart. And then
sure.
I feel like maybe that's a true test of if you guys belong together. Once you're falling out of love, you guys can find a way to connect again. Or like you said, Melina, if that connection is there, you're going to be drawn back together. But I think people grow apart all the time, and that's fine.
No, I completely get the point of falling and like growing apart. But to me, what makes love to me is like, damn, it's so hard to explain. Like, you know, when
It's
you
like
know
Brandy.
it.
Have you ever been in love? Like that type of stuff. Okay, I get what you're saying.
I don't know.
It's
I
a
guess
tough
it's
conversation.
connection.
It's connection. I feel like there's so many things that tie to it, because,
For sure.
you know, timing also plays a part in it. I feel like I've been in a space where I've really loved someone or been in love with someone, but because we both had a lot of self-work to do, that's what really keeps us apart. That's what keeps us from being in a relationship with each other, because although we may have these feelings or are in love with one another, together we can be toxic. And we can be toxic not because we're not in love with each other or we don't love each other, but there's just a lack of understanding of what each of us are going through.
Almost like internal battles that you have to fight separately, and then maybe when you guys fight them, it'd be a good thing to come back, or like, you know, that that's still the person, almost like.
Yeah.
It sounds corny to say, but especially when you hear people saying, like, if you're really not happy with the way things are going for you and where you are in life right now, how are you gonna find the happiness? Because no one can make anyone happy.
Yeah, no.
You really have to find that within yourself to be happy. And if you don't have that, how can you put that on someone else.
Right.
And that's where, like, I feel like people have a misconception of what love is supposed to be like. I feel like some people really believe that having a partner, that partner should really be your other half to make you whole, and that's false. You should be whole and complete with yourself.
I agree with that.
Before being in a relationship, you should not project that onto somebody else and think it's their responsibility.
Yes, because then that gives them a sense of like, it's never going to be fulfilling for you. In my point of view, he's the person, she is going to try their best to do everything in the world to make you happy, and it will never be enough. No matter what they do, if you're not happy with yourself, no matter what they do, it's never going to be enough or good enough.
Yeah, because if I'm being honest, internally we all have insecurities that either we're really vocal about, and we all have some that we're not vocal about, and those are like some of the demons that we're internally fighting on a day-to-day basis, and we project that energy onto somebody because somebody might do something that's innocent on their behalf, but because we have this insecurity about that or this certain aspect of our life, we take offense to it because we feel like they're attacking us.
Yes.
And they don't even have any knowledge of that insecurity or how we even came up with that,
or
that
how it
story
correlates.
or yeah. So it's a lot that comes
crazy.
with it.
You know, for a really long time, I did think that you could fall out of love. Like, I really thought it was like, no, like, today I don't love you, and that's just that. I made that decision today. Like, it does. To me, it doesn't work that way. Like, it's either you never loved the person and you were going off of infatuation, or you were more like lust in a sense, you know, where you enjoyed their sexual company, or you know, but for lack of how you say it? Lack of a better word. Yes, because you know, I'm sitting here mixing up all my words. But when you're with someone and you can share time separately in the same room, you know, in silence, and feel completely comfortable,
Yeah, that's so.
that's, to me, that's love. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's different.
See, and Rosie, I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Right, it's not like that at all.
It's like that. But, alright, I'm just giving a different look. Like, my perception on you saying that you're able to fall out of love, because, granted, I've felt that way too in times in my life. But do y'all think that it could be, or we believe sometimes that we've fallen out of love because maybe when we met this person, like, we didn't care to ask the questions that really mattered. We didn't care to really find out if we're compatible at all. It was just like hanging out with the homie, and then it was just like, one day you're cute, I'm cute, let's be cute together.
Right.
And then come to find out, like, when the real stuff starts surfacing, because we're grown now.
Yes, we're not kids anymore.
It's just not there. Like, you know, our goals, our missions, none of it aligns. We don't want the same things. Like,
and I think that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Exactly, like, people, you get into in this relationship, and again, you're going with just those feelings for the first couple years, where everybody's like madly in love, and you want to just like stick to each other, always be together, and that's cool and all. And not saying that once you get older is not something you want, but as you get older, every day we're maturing, we're learning, we're growing. That's where I think people can grow apart, but more so because what we liked back then when we were in our teens is completely different to what we like right now.
100%.
We can be into completely different things right now. But if you have that one connection where it's just like that person just completely understands you, they will allow you to do whatever it is you want to do, but yet you guys will still come together.
okay.
Whether it's understanding, like, I am not clingy anymore. Like, I used to be like always holding hands and all that stuff, and now I'm just like, okay, we know we're together. Everyone knows we're together. Like,
There's no
I
need
don't.
for that.
Yeah, like, I'm not at that stage anymore. Whereas he definitely might be, or whatever the case is.
Right, of course.
You know what's crazy about that? These last couple of years, you know, a lot of people are making a big deal out of the book 5 Love Languages. I've never personally read it. I've read, like, you know, just keynotes about it, the basics of it that you can find on the internet, but never actually sat down and read the book.
I took a quiz online, but I don't think it.
You never read the book?
No.
So we've never read the book, any of us, but for me personally, it makes so much sense. I want to read the book. It makes so much sense because we do have a habit of loving people how we want to be loved, and that's not what that person always needs. Like, I'm a different kind of person than who I could potentially be in a relationship with. You might need certain things that I don't require, and then you're looking at me like, well, how come you don't do that? Because I don't require it. So I just assumed that was normal. That's my normal.
For sure.
So do opposites, you guys think opposites attract?
I think it's touchy.
I think it depends, because if you think about it, if you're opposite, maybe that person. Let me not put my foot in my mouth.
That's not going.
I don't know. It depends when they're opposite.
Because I feel like I've seen opposites that go well together.
But opposite in what sense? Like,
so
give me an example.
So I know someone like that loves going out, being wild, like not crazy, but like just going out, having fun, more outgoing. Whereas you see her spouse real quiet, real reserved.
Okay.
And understands that that's just the person you married, so it's okay for her to be that. You know the type of person she is, and they're completely opposites, and it just works for them. It's like a balance between the relationship. Like, we got the crazy one, the quiet one, and then we all just come together and then like, okay.
I think it can work like in a positive sense, because sometimes when two people are alike, you're liable to clash heads. So
definitely.
If one's more like of an aggressor, like they have the ability to get mad more, you want to be with somebody who is more mellow and more calm and can bring you down to this space, versus you being that way and being with someone who's just like you, and now things escalate quickly. Because we have the same personalities, and I have the personality of, you're not talking to me like that, you have that, now nobody's talking like that, so we're screaming.
So maybe opposites is a good thing.
In some situations.
It could be, but I don't always think that's the case. I feel like it's very different for everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
You gotta see
what works for you.
And that's why it is so important for you to master self. I feel like once you master self, you know what you're going to allow, what you're going to accept, what you're not going to accept. You know how to set a tone, your boundaries. You just know, because you're very self-aware. And I think a lot of people aren't self-aware or have taken the time, because life kind of just happens. It does. It just goes, and you just kind of go with the flow, and then you meet somebody and you think like, this is it. And I believe for the most part, most people, when they find someone and they take interest in them, for the most part, you're thinking long term. I don't think anybody would think, I'm going to meet you and just waste both of our times, because we're not really going to go anywhere with this.
I get that, but I think that's pressure too from everyone else around in the society, like you said earlier in itself. Everybody paints this picture like, by this age, you have to be with someone, you have to be in love, you have to have
married,
and it doesn't always work out that way. So I feel like everyone at such a young age, because damn Cinderella and all that bullcrap, like
Snow White, the Prince Charming comes to save you.
There's no Prince Charming. He doesn't exist. Sorry, no.
Let me say this. I don't know about y'all.
Get ready. It's about to be good.
But I'm at that age where people think it's okay to ask me questions like, well, when are you gonna, find somebody and settle down? When are you gonna get married? When are you gonna have kids? And honestly, in my mind, and I guess maybe because it is my normal, I'm okay with figuring myself out first and not feeling that it's urgent for me to have a child and potentially have a child with just any old body, just because I feel as though I should have a child at this age, when realistically I haven't lived my life for myself yet to want to bring life into this world. That's 100%. Me personally, but
I agree.
I guess I'm just at that age where people think it's okay, and it's just like, it's really not okay, and society creates that image that it's
where you
for women.
We have to be in a relationship, and we have to be in love, and we have to get married, have children, and be that housewife.
And if you're not, then something must be wrong with you. Well, sis, I guess something is wrong with me. Very wrong with me, because I'm not doing it.
It sounds, for a lot of people, that's exactly what they want to do.
Yeah.
And that's okay, but to pressure someone into doing those things,
because no.
And
I'm
it's
always
also-
rooting for Melina.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead, girl. Figure yourself out. Enjoy life. Do what it is you want to
It's
do.
okay to be anything.
I'm not gonna front. Sometimes I just be watching Netflix. I don't be figuring nothing out.
Understandable. I feel like it's okay for you to be a single mom, and that doesn't have to mean
Yeah.
your child's father not in the picture. I'm just, you know, it just means that it's okay to have a child with someone that you're not in a relationship with. It's okay to be married, have children, be a wife, and love it. It's okay to be all those things in a sense. You don't have to completely stick to one.
Right. There's no, what's the word? There's no finish line, and I feel like a lot of people think the finish line is getting married and having children. And once you've mastered that, like, you've got life figured out. Like, obviously things happen after that. You're an independent person, but they think that is the ultimate goal, and that is a beautiful thing. I will say that there's a lot of beautiful families out here. There's a lot of people that I'm like, wow, like, I would love to have that one day. But at the same time, there's also, if we're being honest, there's so many people that I've crossed paths with that are like, you wanted to be that person. You wanted to be the person who got it all right, who got married, who had the kids, who had the home, and you have those things now. And now that you have those things, you just reflect on when you didn't have those things and those responsibilities, and play back how life was beautiful before all this, and how free you were.
Yeah.
So I'd rather just explore my freedom for a little bit longer.
A lot of people lose touch and lose themselves. That's another thing. Like,
In relationships,
people
right?
in relationships, and just
They're trying to force.
being a parent, you're so busy trying to raise these little humans to be like the best version that you can create them to be, or guide them to be, that you forget who the heck you were at one point.
Yeah.
And
for
then
sure.
it's like getting back to that is like
difficult.
square one, because then you start thinking, well, I don't even know who I was back then, so how am I gonna try to figure it out? Where do you begin?
But that's also, like, I see a lot of people who stay stuck in relationships that don't suit them, or stay stuck in situations that they shouldn't be in because they feel like they have to jump the gun, get married, and we have a kid, and we have to be together because we have to make it work.
Yeah. Sometimes
That's
it's just
toxic.
and comfort.
And
I feel like they confuse that.
Yeah,
Like love
for
and
sure.
being
For
comfortable
sure,
with
for
the
sure.
person.
For sure, definitely.
And to me, I've seen things in my life that I thought were real love, and I'm like, wow, like, that's what it's all about. And honestly, that picture was not what it was painted to be. And then years, when I say years, I mean decades later, for these two people to make the decision that this never worked for us, you know? And a lot of people stay together for their families, or because they don't want to be alone and stuff like that. And it's just, it goes back to, for me personally, mastering, you know, self-love, because you wouldn't stay stuck in that situation if it wasn't.
For the time spent, or
It's a lot.
and let me just say, a child would prefer to see you happy, alone, and not going through a toxic situation just because you want to keep your family together.
Yeah.
Exactly, because they're present to that too. As much as they're present to their family staying together and being whole, they're present to the problems that come with it.
For
And it's
sure.
just like, you have to be mindful that you're raising these children, and if these children are raised seeing that you're tolerating certain behaviors that you know that you wouldn't want for your kid, that's normal to them. They think that you should stick it out. This is what it's all about.
This is what you should
I don't
be.
come from that. I don't. I don't come from that. Like, I come from watching a woman do it all, and sometimes that might be what steps on my toes in relationships, because that's who I am. I am a product of my mother. I am a product of the women in my life that have done it all by themselves, without the
Very
help
true.
of a man, who were complete with themselves. And if someone stepped in their court, they might have given them the ability to play the game, but they never won.
Mm-hmm.
They never won. They never won. So falling out of love, it's wild, because love personally cannot be forced.
Oh, for sure. You cannot force someone to do something or be there for you if they do not want to. And the more you force them, the worse the situation's gonna get. the more toxic, the
For
more
sure.
for sure. But it's crazy. It's such a crazy thing to think you could be with someone for so long, and then one day you wake up and you're like, this isn't what I want.
And then you come to the realization that there was always a lack of connection. And then you ever come to the realization where you're like, wow, what the hell did we even talk about? Because I'm trying to reflect on conversations we may have had of why we even got to where we are, and I can't find them.
Or think, how the hell did you even get to this point?
Right.
Like, where were you ever in a point in that relationship where you were madly in love, or it was just the circumstances that you were in, or the way life just played out that made you believe you were in love?
Exactly my point.
And I don't know about you two, but I'm in this like in between stage in my life right now. And it's part of me is just like, go with the flow, right? And I've always been the person. I've always been the person to say, don't go with the flow. If you go with the flow, that shit will leave you drowning. I've always said that, but I'm in a space where I'm thinking about going with the flow and not having the pressures of worrying about being in a relationship, just enjoying somebody's company, and when I see you, it's a great time, and not thinking so much into everything else on the forefront.
Yeah.
But then I'm also like, no, we have to address these things and we have to talk about them so there's no room for confusion and nobody's time gets wasted here, and there's an understanding. And the part of me that struggles with it is because people look at you like you're crazy when in the beginning you put that all on the forefront. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not ready for marriage, I'm not ready for kids. If that's what you want, then sorry, I'm not for you, because I don't know if I'll
Sure.
ever want that. And if you know you want that,
Then that right there is a sign.
you should be with somebody else, because don't think that
Your mind's gonna change.
eventually I could change my mind. It could happen, but there's also the possibility that it won't. And then you're gonna live a life where you've invested so much time and unfulfilled.
Mm-hmm. And not just that, I
So-
feel like
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I just feel like people go in like, no, that's okay, I completely understand. And then a year in, 2 years in, they're like, oh, shit, I do want that. Like, I want what I said I didn't want. And I mean that for people who what's the word? Like, let's say that I'm in a relationship with you and you tell me I don't want kids, I don't want to be married, I don't want none of that. And I say, okay, that's fine for now. But then later on, I'm going to want that. Eventually, I'm going to want that. And that's going to start fights. That's going to start arguments. That's going to start because now I want that from you. We can't just spend the rest of our lives together with me wanting to get married and you said originally from the jump that I don't, or that I may not want to.
But
I
then
can't expect you to.
I feel like when they say may not, then there's always that possibility and that chance. Now, if they've given you that hard, no, I really do not see this happening for me because I have these set goals, then it's like, okay, now it's your decision. Do you want to put yourself through that? If they give you a hard no, then okay, definitely walk away. But if you have that connection with somebody and you really feel each other on a deeper level, I feel like eventually things will play out to the point where you guys can find that like common ground. Okay, so initially you said you didn't want to get married or have kids, but we made it to the marriage part.
Right.
Now we're finally getting married. Maybe not right now, we're not talking about kids, we're still in that stage where it's like, no, but now your connection grew some more, you guys are even closer than ever, you're actually building something that's working for you guys. Now y'all all with kids. So it can change,
Yeah,
I
it
feel
can.
like, based on your relationships and how vocal you were.
I get what you're saying, and I'm looking at it, and I'm seeing the vision.
Yeah.
And what I'm getting from what you're saying is like, because two people can connect so well, and that love is so much there, it's almost to the point where it's like you really do come together as one. And I love this person so much, and this will make them happy, and I'm okay with that sacrifice to make this person happy. And I get that, and believe me, I used to be that girl.
Yeah.
So I'm coming from a different standpoint based off the experiences that I have, and we can only all speak off of our experiences.
Right,
Yeah.
for sure.
I've always been like, I don't want to say a people pleaser because I'm not a people pleaser, but in a relationship there's a different version of myself that I give to the person I'm in a relationship with, and I really give 110%, and I will do anything to make you happy. I will I will put my own wants and needs to the side on the strength of that person. And I've seen time and time again that has gotten me nowhere, and that's not a space that I'm comfortable with living anymore. So that's not an option for me anymore. For me to say that I don't want this in this space right now, I wouldn't want somebody to come in who knows for a fact
What they want.
that they want it. And I'd rather you go on and find somebody who's compatible with you, who knows for a fact that they want it.
Oh, for sure.
See, but I love that you know that. So you're able to communicate that with whoever it is you have to communicate that with. A lot of people, like you said earlier, just go with the flow. And then just get mad when they find stuff out. And it's like, people don't have these conversations, and they have to have these conversations. I
was
guess,
just about to say that.
I don't know if it's maybe teaching your kids because it sounds kind of not dumb to say, but
Like cliche,
but maybe when your kids get to that certain age where they start having boyfriends and girlfriends, you know, everybody falls in love at the age of 14.
Okay, and
Yeah.
it'd be the truest love you ever had.
Right? You would really do whatever.
Truest. You ain't got no bills to argue about nothing. It'd be the
Nothing.
truest.
So that's exactly. So I feel like maybe speaking to your kids a slight little bit about reality. Stop trying to worry about falling in love. Stop worrying about finding a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Like, it's not the end of the world if it doesn't work out. Just to like let them know, like, figure yourself out before you try to like fall in a relationship.
Or try to figure someone else
Like,
out.
figure out what you want, what you really truly want. Like, whether it's, I really want to go to school. I've heard of people who like pause their going to school or going away for school because of this love or boyfriend they have. It might be real, it might not be real, but at that age, especially at a young age, you should really focus on doing things for you, so you can figure out who you are and learn who you are as a person, love yourself so that you're able to do it for others, and always have that understanding so that you're not going through 20 relationships or having 3 baby dads. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just really think about stuff. I feel like right now we just jump into it. Well, it didn't work out with this guy. We had a kid. We tried. Oops. So now you're jumping into another one because, oh, I love him because he did what this one didn't. Now, oops, again. You know what I mean? Like, really take the time to, like, figure out what you want, what love is to you, and what that other person wants before you just start jumping into some serious relationship. Because it's a waste of everyone's time if it doesn't work out.
I agree with that. 100%. It's crazy.
Yeah, sometimes you have to, like, I don't want to say pick your poison, but if we're being realistic, no one person is going to be exactly what you want them to be. So
Yeah,
when finding somebody, I think you really have to be clear on what your boundaries are and what's okay and what's not acceptable, because certain things you're capable of looking past, and then there's things that we look past thinking that they'll eventually change, and they don't. And they don't, and then before you know it, you're lowering all your, I don't want to say expectations because you really shouldn't have them, so I don't know what the word is, but you're lowering your bar every single time, and then you get to this space where you've hit rock bottom and said, how did I get here? And it's all those little things had added up.
For
You
sure.
deduct it. It's like when your paycheck hits, when your paycheck hit, and then these things gradually start coming down, and before you know it, it's like,
That's
gone.
it.
You know
Bye.
what's good? Like, did you guys watch Why Did I Get Married?
No. I did, but
No?
I cannot remember it off the top of my head. So what scene are you talking about? Mike?
So
refresh me.
no, the part where she literally had the girls. Everybody had like a crappy vacation thing. So everybody's relationship came back with like a bunch of drama off that 1 week or weekend that they were out. I forgot her name in the movie, but Janet Jackson had the girls write down what do you truly a list. What do you truly love about this person, or not love, but
The pros versus
the
the
pros
cons.
and the cons. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if it obviously whatever
Weighs
outweighs
out,
is
right.
the decision, and it might sound dumb to say, but I feel like that makes all the sense in the world sometimes. If you're really trying to figure out that one relationship, not saying go off the list because you just can't,
Right.
but at least take that into consideration. How
Yeah.
does this person really make you feel? Things that you truly like about this person, enjoy.
Does it make you feel good?
Things that they do without even knowing that they are actually doing it but it makes you low-key happy.
And it makes you
Yeah.
feel good.
Or I feel like that might work just a little, because at least you know, and maybe that'll avoid them red flags that we always bypass just because
We be like, I don't know if it's red.
It's
it could be pink. It could be. I don't know.
No, that's orange.
like,
That's orange.
bro, we
That
all
ain't
get
red.
these red flags that we literally bypass thinking it's fine.
Mhm.
It's fine right now. And then
It's
a
cool.
couple years later, you're like, damn it, I've seen all them red flags and just bypassed every single one.
Okay.
Now I'm sitting here mad. Like,
For sure.
you can only be mad at yourself, really, because
It's crazy.
you knew you didn't like it from the beginning, so you should have never dived in. Not everybody changes like that, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Or you can't change them to be the person you want them to be.
You said a word, didn't even know you said a word. Like, for whatever reason, everything you just said just reminded me. So, I have this person. Story time. No, I have this. Alright, I knew somebody who was like a friend to me and shared, their situation with me at one point, and it's just I had to get real with this person and really make it make sense.
Right.
As an outsider, because sometimes when we're in it, it's just like
It's
when
a
we're
way
being
different.
in the game versus being in the stands is two different things.
For sure.
And seeing it differently. This person was in a relationship with someone, and this person did not fulfill them because this person liked to talk, and that's what that person was good at, talking about feelings and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I'm good at talking out.
That's not me.
But
That's
it's not
me.
me. It's not me. And their significant other is not. They're real closed off, reserved. They really don't say much, and that's just their personality. That's just who they are. But you know this about this person, and not only did you get into a relationship with this person knowing that's how they are, but maybe you thought they were shy. Cool, benefit of the doubt. Fast forward, you're in a relationship, and you've seen it hasn't changed. You stay in the relationship, and then boom. Knowing that you're unfulfilled in your relationship, you decide, let's take it up a step. Let's have a kid. Still unfulfilled because that person is still who they are, and that's still your argument. Let's take it up another notch. Let's have another kid. Situation is still the same. Unfulfilled. Let's take it up another notch. Let's get married. Why continue
Knowing.
being mad about it the whole time? Why keep taking these steps further, going deeper in, and to the point where you're locked in? Not saying there's not a way out, but you're now you have this person invested and believing that you accept them for what they are, and realistically that's a problem for you. So why would you continue thinking somebody would change?
Yeah.
Those are the things that are questionable. Those are the type of relationships where it's like that person could probably say, I fell out of love because realistically you never had that connection.
Yeah. So yeah, you can't say you fell out of love.
If you never had that connection, then you were never in it to fall out of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly my point.
And I feel like, I don't know about you laws, and I'm going to put words, but I feel like a lot of people had experience in their lives where they might have loved somebody, had love for someone, but weren't necessarily in love with them. Even if they couldn't admit it at that time. Like, you should be able to reflect on it now and be like, I was not really in love because I could see this person today and it would be so regular.
Right.
Yeah.
I just cared a lot for that person.
I cared a lot and we tried and it just didn't
That
work.
and love for everyone can be different.
So different.
Yeah, because the love that I have for my kids is not the love that I have for you ladies, or the love that I have for my mom. So I guess it's what role that person plays to in your life.
Oh, for sure.
Or is it just the friends love? Is it like the true, like, holy crap love? You know what I mean? Like,
And I think people string people along while they try to figure it out.
Oh, for sure.
don't do that. Stop
Why
stringing
they
people
try to figure
along.
that out?
Like, really.
Leave them. Be
Just
by
leave
yourself.
them.
Figure it out. Because you're hurting that other person. On top of that, do you ladies believe that you can love more than one person? Me,
In
I'm
a
gonna say
relationship aspect?
yeah. I'm gonna say no.
In a relationship.
I'm gonna say no.
Claro que sí.
I'm gonna say no.
No, wait. No, I'm confused.
No.
Dumb it down.
No. For me, I'm gonna say no because I know me, and like I said earlier, I present a different version of myself to the person that I'm invested and interested in. And when I say you have all of me, like I'm
All
liable to be just like I'm calling out of work just to lay up like dumb stuff that like the normal me would be like, hell no, it's not happening. I need all my time. Seriously. So I know I can't be that way for two people, because when I'm in love and I've been in love, this person is everything. This person is everything. This person is everything. Okay. There's no way that someone can steer me from that.
Yeah, I agree.
You can't take me from that because you're always here.
Right.
Okay.
And for me personally, I believe that you can't give two people the same attention ever. So to say that you're in love with two people, it's always going to be different. And I feel like one will be love, one will be infatuation, one will be lust, one would be,
Yeah, okay.
I don't think you can be in love with two people. I could be wrong, but I don't personally think that you can be in love with two people.
I don't think so either, but I guess you wouldn't know unless you have love.
You
know what I mean? Like, unless you have that love for someone else. I don't know. I don't think you can, but I don't want to say a harsh no.
Right.
I'm saying a harsh no for at the same time.
Okay.
At the same time,
no. First of all, that's complicated and so much work.
For sure.
At the same time, no. Now, I was in a situation before where I thought the world of somebody, and if I'm being honest, was in a committed friendship. Yes, I was for a very long time, and really just thought like that. Things will eventually work out and play its course, and then that went on for so long, but I eventually got into a relationship with somebody else, and because I was able to do that, and I never thought I would be able to be with somebody else, and I was able to, it made me question, did I ever feel how I thought I felt about that other person?
Did you actually feel those feelings that you thought you felt? Or was it just
a phase?
Because then I felt like my relationship with the person that I was actually in a relationship with brought me into a space that, and that person that I got in a relationship with wasn't perfect, wasn't, God's gifts to earth, but a lot of the qualities that he possessed is everything that I wanted from this other person, and this other person never gave it to me, and he was capable of giving me those things in a relationship. And then I was like, damn, did I really let myself lack these feelings and this type of emotion for such a long time, because I thought that if I stay around long enough I could change somebody's mind?
And
hell no.
First of all,
you cannot change anyone. If you go into a relationship thinking that you can change someone, you're already doomed. Run the other way.
Yeah, because I get it, in relationships you put in the work,
of course, but you can't change someone.
But I wouldn't put in that much work to fully want to change someone to be the person you want. Yeah, Prince Charming does not exist.
It doesn't. But
perfection does not exist.
That's the thing. Why would Why would you go into a relationship wanting to change someone? You shouldn't.
No.
That person is going to be who they are, and they should find someone who accepts them.
Amen.
Not one. Don't change. Don't try to change it. That's unfair to them.
You should love that person as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you should.
That's selfish. Very selfish.
She meant that one.
Just so y'all know.
You should love that person for everything they are or aren't, and if what they are not or what they are is too much for you, then it's clearly just not for you, and you have to come to terms with that. And I think people have a hard time being honest about those things, and I don't know if it's really fear of being alone.
Oh, for sure.
Like me personally, I don't fear being alone. Like I'm okay with that, and I know that sounds bad, and I might get to a point in my life where I'll be like, damn, I really don't want to be alone. But me right now, in this present day, I am okay with being alone if that means being at peace.
I felt like for a long time I wasn't okay with it, just because I was in a relationship since I was 14.
Okay.
I've always been with him.
Yeah.
So for a long time I didn't know how to be alone or accept the fact that I could ever be alone. If that makes sense. Which is so toxic. Oh my God, it's really bad for you and the other person. If that makes sense.
For you, the other person, and once you bring kids along,
It's
because
so
they see that.
yeah, it's so important to be okay with you and your solitude, and you don't understand how much happier you'll be knowing that you could be alone and be okay. So that wraps up today's episode.
Amen, sisters.
If you liked our new setup, stay tuned for more episodes.
Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye.